So it's Monday morning, and as you can see behind me, there is scaffolding up. But what for? So last week when we were knocking the jobs out, we also noticed that we had a bit of a problem with our overhead crane. Our gear wheels and our pulley and our, don't know what the other one is, the track wheel, we noticed had a bit of a hole coming through. So what we've done, or what we're doing, is we're taking them off the crane, off the one side that doesn't have the motor on. We're going to actually make some new ones, working off our original ones. George actually done this a couple of years ago in the past, where he got one down because it was broke, moulded one, and then put it back up. So we're just going to do the same. We're going to make them for the left and the right. We're going to put a full new set on. I've also been round to the machine shop showing them the one that's got the gears in, because we want that to get cut, the gears to get cut, and obviously the inside needs boring. Obviously working off an original, it can be a bit complicated. Yes, we could cast the gears in, because these ones have got gears on, but when I got up and I had a look, they're extremely worn. So what I mean by the extremely worn, we actually pulled one down. So I'll just show you one of the standard ones, the one without the gears on. Here she is, and you might be thinking, oh, that looks fine. Well, see all this? This is all the way. It should be up to there. Obviously, it's all worn out. Obviously, it's got a big centrepiece, so it's a bit different. We can actually work off the originals. It is going to be a bit different, because really, normally this will be what you call a split pattern, where it'll be split straight down the centre and you just ram it up. But working off sample, we can't do that. We've got to do it a bit differently. Obviously all the edges have worn, because obviously the centre's worn down, and on the crane it's got bars on it and it runs across the bars, so obviously this is all chipped away. So the hole, which is the bore, has this that sits in. This is the steel shaft that sits through the centre. Obviously we took it off, we're going to clean it up. I'm actually building the scaffolding so we can get up properly and safely. Health and safety nowadays. Obviously I'm not going to show you how we get them down, because that's how we get them down, unfortunately. But one wheel's off, it's all propped up, lifted. We've got to take this one with the gears. We're not going to take these ones off until we've got the new ones, because that side's going to be a bit more complicated with the other parts. Obviously it's got one gear wheel that side, and it also has the one pulley wheel exactly the same. The wheels are identical, so we'll make two of them working off the one that's on the floor. We'll get that one down, we'll make two of them. I might even make three, so 3 of each, so there's just one there sitting in case something does ever happen. But then again, I might not, because obviously it's a lot of money, because yeah, we're doing that, so that's fine, but obviously the machine's going to be a couple of bob. To get all that teeth machined out, I'll probably put a core in the inside just to make the bore, but obviously then that's got to be machined with the two faces, so I've got to add machining into the moulds as well. So our plan is to make the teeth solid. I'm also going to get the machinist, because there's a little gear wheel on the top that obviously turns the big wheel. And when that's worn as well, so we need them making as well. So we've got to get that one down. David also wants to paint the crane yellow. So obviously with the scaffolding, very easy for us. The scaffolding's just wide enough, I think, to fit and like push it along, but at the same time I can't move it because it'll be stuck. The reason why we've left the crane there is because the crane is over the sand mixer, so I can still use left and right and up and down with the boxes. Obviously I'll put everything onto pallets and then we can move them up and down with the forklift, but then we can't cast without the crane. Well, we can use the forklift. We have an arm that attaches to the forklift, which then attaches to the bar that lifts the ladles up and down. So we'll have to see how we get on. We've also got some shop blasting coming in from one of our customers, some pipes, 6 metres, 3-inch bore, are extremely heavy, so that's a stacker job as well, so we can't really use the forklift because that'll be getting used. Obviously we cast last week, So all our jobs that we cast, before we messed around, we put all the jobs on pallets and took them outside. So we can still like knock jobs out. We've got all of these jobs. The jobs that are quite important, well, the jobs that we need are these bench ends that are all on a single pallet, so we can mess around with them. The terrain parts can wait for the time being. As long as I get them out by the end of the month, I'll be happy. Obviously, don't forget this video was like 2 weeks behind, so let's see how we get on. And let's see if we can get them done. But we've got the other gear wheel out, well, the gear wheel down. As you can see, that's the sprog that turns the big wheel. But they're all well worn across the inside. Same with that one. That one's worn out as well, because where that was worn, it wasn't sitting correctly. So that one wasn't sitting in the grooves correctly. These were all packed to grease. So our next steps is obviously we've got to clean these up so we can work them off them. But I can't shop blast them because I'm going to have to throw them back up because I need the crane. So I think we'll have to jet wash them, to grease them, jet wash them, mould them. Then I've got to take them to the machine shop to draw them up. A quick little sketch, and then we can see what condition and how we have to move. They've obviously all got bronze bushes in, so we've got to get new bronze bushes, and we've got to see what we go on from there. The noise we can hear that's quite loud in the background is the shop blaster. Just had the delivery of a couple of big long pipes. So we've got to help Steve with these. We've got to turn them inside and out to blast them. So obviously they're heavy and they're long. We've got to get it all cleaned up for tomorrow for 8 o'clock first thing in the morning. So Steve's nice and busy, but Steve is off tomorrow. He's going to Turkey. So any other blasting, it's down for me. So let's see what happens and see how we get on. So it's Tuesday morning. Yesterday we were obviously talking about our gear wheels. So I've had them cleaned up, well, jet washed them, get all the grease and stuff off them, make sure like they're in a decent condition for us to work off. Obviously when moulding in the sand, you don't want them full of stuff because you're just not going to get your detail. They're all looking good. Obviously it is starting to show the rust where I've jet washed it, but it's all clean and it looks sound. So is this one. Obviously, just a wheel, innit? This is the little sprog, but obviously you can see where it's all worn, where it's all shiny, wear and tear. You can sort of see the wear, obviously, that has happened over the time. So we're making that. Well, I had to shoot to Stockport to go and buy a new shop blasting helmet because Steve's off for a week and there's a load of blasting coming. So I've got to get in the blaster and my helmet broke. I broke the pipe on it last time I was in there. So I just went and bought another one because that pipe costs 120 quid and a new helmet, which is exactly the same as Steve's new helmet. It was like 400, so it's just easier, isn't it? Having the same is easier, but that's what it's looking like. Obviously we're going to core it out and these will be going to for machining. So we've added a load of metal on it. Obviously the bits broke off because that is well worn and it's made like a awkward taper, so getting it out the mould was quite tricky. But I said we got a load of shop blasting in, so let's show you. Got a couple of motorbike parts, but I don't know where they've gone. But the other week I said we were getting fireplaces in and he never turned up. But he turned up yesterday. So we've got a load of different types of fireplaces for shop blasting, all cast iron fireplaces. Something that we've got to be quite careful of when shop blasting because obviously they're quite weak in terms of There's no support down that flange, obviously that's the bottom plate. Obviously you got a big bit there, and then you have these two parts, and obviously the cast iron, and they're dead thin. So they wiggly wobbly, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna blast them. And this is probably my favourite one of them all. Loads of detail all in the black part. Obviously we can see all that detail that's running up and down. Is the detail on the black one. Same again up there, loads of detail. There's actually, it's quite, even though this part here looks quite smooth, there's little bits of detail in there, so we'll clean all that up. And we'll get it blasted. As well as that. So what we'll do is I'll take that one in the blaster and I'll take you with me in the blaster for that one. We did have motorbikes, it's off a Fat Boy motorbike, which are all here, so I'm going to get them done first because they're only small. Them jobs are still here. Big wheel cover. But the shot blasting that we actually had in, which we had all these big massive pipes, Steve completed them yesterday, which is great for me because I didn't want to do them. But obviously they're quite long. Some there, and they are all going for what is called pickle. And this is what they actually look like. Just a nice soft key, so it'll take better. One is slightly smaller, so they're getting picked up. Well, it's just gone 8:10. They are getting picked up in the next half an hour. So they've got to be loaded onto the flatback and they will be going straight for pickling. No galvanising on them ones for a change. But obviously I'm going to be in that shop blaster all day. Got my new helmet here. Calling me the Stig. So we'll see what's going on, see what's happening. Obviously it's going to be, we've got to obviously mould them gear wheels because obviously got to get them moulded. Took them to the machine shop. He said once you've cleaned them, once you mould them up, bring them back so we can do some drawings of them. So they know what to do. Obviously they've got to make the spog or the cog to match the gear wheel. Obviously we've got to do 2 lots of each, so there'll be 4. They've all got bronze bushes in as well. So if I get a chance I'll try and video us moulding them, but obviously it's going to be quite tricky, so if I don't I'll just show you the moulds. So we don't know what's going to happen. It is Thursday and have I been busy? Let me tell you, I've been in that shop blaster non-stop. It's hard work with the weather being so warm as well. It's so sweaty. Obviously you got to wear pants, jumpers. Steve normally wears overalls, but I hate overalls because I get a big wedgie off them. But being non-stop, yesterday we had more pipes that come in. I had jobs that I had to get completed because they were getting picked up yesterday morning. I had a load of railings that come in, you know, like them ones you see on the side of the road, like dual carriageway, them boring rectangular ones with a little gap in the middle and then a couple of bars. Them, they'd gone rusty, and before they needed powder coating, they needed cleaning up the rust because obviously you don't want to powder coat over rust. So I had to do them, and they were getting picked up yesterday. They were an emergency job, so I had to get them done. Then I went, right, we'll start the fireplaces, and the powder coater's called, who we do the work for, the wagon parts. I've got these jobs, can you get them done for today? So he come round yesterday with these and the blue, but the freshly powder coaters and fresh powder coatings are absolute nightmares to get off. Let's have a look. This is where it started. All my boots are in here. Here's one I've been doing. We're getting there, we're getting there. I've not even started these fireplaces. I've done the big boy motorbike parts. Been a bit of a pain because they're too thin. I'm really blasting them. Blasted to the fireplace plate things yesterday, right? This is how quick cast iron oxidizes once it's been et in by the rust, you know what I mean? I'd blast it, yeah, that's what blasting normally steel looks like when it's cleaned and it's fresh. Look how rusty they've gone already. Where it's oxidized and it's all pitted, where it's been et away. It should really look like that, and it did look like that. That was done yesterday, that's one of them parts. However, the crane, so David moulded the big sprog wheel, the main one. The one that really needs replacing. It took him all day to mould it. So realistically, it's not worth us making all 4 now. We've cleaned them all up, we've got them in running condition order and an appropriate order for us. If it's taking all day to make one, it's going to take all week. We need the crane back up and running. So we decided we're just going to make the one, have the one machines, because obviously machining cost and all that's we're looking at a couple of bob, do you know what I mean? So we've just put the other ones back on, even though they are worn, etc. They'll still work and still do the job in terms of what we need. Yeah, it might not sound great, but they're still there and they still do the job. These old ones, we can replace it once it's worn out. When the next one goes, we'll replace that one. But if it's taken all day to make a mould and it's absolutely being a nightmare to mould because it's worn, yeah, we can mould them, no problem. But with them being extremely worn, there's cutting edges, so when you take it out the sand, it rips out and it doesn't look great as of fact. But the crane is now back up and running in operational order. Running fine the way it used to be, so with the new one moulded, we can just cast that. Are we going to cast it in ductile or are we going to cast it in cast iron? I don't really know. Ductile obviously going to be a bit more harder wearing, and if it does wear with it being in ductile, you can always weld a steel band in it, which I did throw that option with them ones to put a steel band, but it runs on a steel track, so I think if it's steel on the steel, it might wear the track out, and really I don't want to do that. I'd rather the wheel wear out than the track. But absolute nightmare. Obviously you've got to get these fireplaces done. But other than the fireplaces, obviously I was going to show you this one once we get this one going. But you should see it when you blast it. It goes everywhere. But more blasting actually coming. All them seats are still there, he was meant to pick them up last week. We've got more wagon parts, so they're going to be urgent. They need to be done, but I'm not going to be able to start them until I've done the fireplaces. And we've also got a big set of railings, a full garden restoration. They tried to paint the heads. Look. I also got another set of railings coming in that supposedly we told him he could have, but I'm absolutely snowed under with the blasting. But my new helmet, let's move you. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's so much better than my old one, my red one. Well, because I'm not wearing red. It's now green. It's great. Dead easy coming on and off your head, which is absolutely fantastic because obviously you're taking it off, taking it on, bringing stuff in, bringing stuff out, speeding it up, do you know what I mean? The other one you had to put your hand in, put a strap on, it moved around on your head. It's like a motorbike helmet, just sits on your head. Absolutely belter. But the bench ends, it's been on. You know the one where he wanted them in iron, wanted one in bronze, then wanted them in SG, now wants them in iron again. Now wants us only to drill one set, not the other set. Yeah, he's been on, he wants them. They're done, the cast, they just need fettling, but we haven't, because obviously I would have done it, but obviously got to do the shop blasting, got to try and get on top of it. Otherwise it just piles up. Steve's not in till the end of next week. So I've just got to get it done. We've also got some more castings, you know, the big motors that we do. The big motor's got to be altered. It's got to be bigger in size, but the end cap still fits. So the end caps are coming up for us to be made. You know, the ones we had problems with. But we've mastered the way now. So hopefully, touch wood, that we smash it. But But other than that, I've got to get back in this blaster. I've got to blast these blue things because he wants them for today, which are an absolute nightmare because I can't even get in all the places. The blasting is great, don't get me wrong, but anyone who knows shot blasting, you know it's a nightmare because you blast so much, then you run out of shot, then we brush it up and goes in a hole which goes in an elevator. But if you've got a brush and shovel, I couldn't do that. I'd have to tell you now. Ours is not too bad, you just brush back into the hole, but once it runs out and you're getting going and then it stops, then my little nuts flew off. Yeah, but anyway, but we've got to get blasting, we've got to get these jobs done, we've got to get them out. Paul's not even in, so it's only me and David today. So the office, there's loads to do there, invoicing wise. You've just got to get it done, haven't you? But looks like I'll be working Saturday and Sunday. Not blasting because I'm not allowed to blast on my own, but office wise, I can get all that done when I come to edit videos. Because I edit these videos unpaid, my own time, for you. Even though I've got no followers or no views. But we stay committed to the process. Because these wheels of industry carry on turning. Made in Great Britain, and that's what it's about. None of this imported. Anyway, that's it for a Thursday, because I've got to get back in that blaster. It's Friday, and I'm in early. I'm shattered, I'm tired, but I'm here early because I need to get these shot blasting jobs done. And while it's cooler, I can get more done. But yesterday we got onto the fireplaces and started them. So I've done a couple there, with a couple of little different things. But fireplaces, I'm probably going to have to say, obviously they're all face down at the moment. I'm probably up there with one of my favourite jobs to blast, due to the fact that you reveal a lot of detail. But obviously I've got more to do. But they are quite easy to blast. The paint is always quite easy to come off. But you get like the detail that comes out, and they're quite enjoyable. Of something to blast, you blast it with the steel shot, it just flies off, do you know what I mean? But in terms of like, because of the paint, or like interior paint, it's not outside, and sometimes there was one and it was dead thick in paint, but it still come off pretty simple. But you've got to get everywhere covered, you've got to get underneath, you've got to turn it around, that's the only annoying part. And it is very messy, especially when you go on the backside. Obviously you can see where these have oxidised already. So these are where the oxidised, see the really dark parts. They've been blasted, and obviously they were blasted yesterday. So in less than, let's say, 24 hours, because it was already rusty, and I've cleaned the rust out, but where it's already been ate away and pitted, it goes quite dark quite quick. And even see on that top shelf, see if we can zoom you in. See on that top shelf there, that's all pitted and rusted away. What? Blasting, obviously absolutely loads. Finished the bench ends. We drilled one set, he was on yesterday a couple of times. But they're all done now. All the bench ends are done. They are all ready to go out. He's coming first thing this morning to come and pick them up. So I'm sure he'll be nice and happy because he can have them back. We aren't doing one in bronze. Don't know if he's going elsewhere for his bronze one. I don't really know, because he was quite determined to do one in bronze. But if I do find out he's going elsewhere, I won't be happy. And if he's watching, you know I'm talking about you. Anyway, did I tell you the set of gates that we got in the fella once? He's going to have to get them next week because obviously I've got too much to do. Because I've also got a breakdown job coming in from another firm for shot blasting for some fans. They're coming this morning, so we'll have to wait and see what they look like and see what condition they're in. But the gates that the lads brought, they've got to be up there with one of the worst I've ever seen in terms of for blasting wise. And seeing this might not do the justice. And you might be thinking, well, there's not a lot of paint on it. And it's not the paint that's the problem. Paint's fine. It's these little twirly things. They're an absolute nightmare. But we get the job done as usual, and we'll get it done for them. Because why I'm saying they're a nightmare is because you've got to blast there, you've got to turn it round to blast there, you've got to turn it round again, you've got to turn it round again. People look at a gate and say you just blast that one face, and it's like one way, two ways, you've got to go three ways, you've got to go four ways, you've got to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and same again on the other side. And you've got to do 2 gates instead of 1. Oh well, but it's work, isn't it? And we've got to get the jobs in and got the jobs out at the same time. So I need to get these done. Fireplace is done this morning. Ring him, let him know. He rang yesterday, he said Monday, but if we can get them done for today, we can ring him. He might come and get them out the way. Don't know if he comes Monday, Obviously, we've got to get all of them done. I've got all these wagon parts, which is 3 boxes of wagon parts to do. We've got them gates, the big ones. We've got the whole set of railings, and we've also got these 2 propellers, or impellers. I don't know what they are yet. Coming. I'm also pricing another job for another fella for shop blasting for some doors. So we'll see what happens. Just waiting on power to come prices on them, and then we'll see how we get on. But so far, so good. Onwards and upwards. Base with the motor fan for obviously for shop blasting. So Monday we'll have to ring the customer because he wants it Monday afternoon, but obviously done being Friday, so we can get him to come and pick it up first thing Monday morning, which he'll be happy. And then obviously on Monday our next job will be them railings, the ones that I don't really want to do but I've got to do. So this is what it's looking like. All finished, all cleaned up. We had to cut. He left the name tags on, and obviously blasting it will just destroy them. So to drill the rivets out, so we could take them out. But that's a wrap for MC Weekly. I think episode number 23. Don't forget, give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. It's much appreciated. I'm not very good at this still, but we'll get there. Stay along for next week. See what other blasting we've got.